The LPGA Tour had Caitlin Clark play. The event was taken over by the ominous crowd. The LPGA have like completely shown up the WNBA here.
Everyone thinks the story of Caitlin Clark is about a college kid who could shoot from the logo and break records. But that's not the story, that's the prologue. The real story, the one filled with jealousy, backroom decisions, and a cultural firestorm, began the second she stepped onto a WNBA court. What I'm about to reveal isn't just about hard fouls or a rookie's welcome. It's about a calculated campaign from league veterans and a shocking decision by Team USA that they hoped would keep the world's most famous basketball player in her place. But they underestimated the movement she had already started, and the story of why she was truly left off the Olympic team is far more complex than anyone is admitting.
Yeah, well, I'm just obviously really thankful for Gainbridge and everything that they do, not only in women's sports, but just sports in general. It's tremendous, and I feel very lucky to be a partner of theirs, and sports unites people, and that's kind of what this feels like too. It's just bringing people together where they can find joy in something.
Before she was the most scrutinized rookie in sports history, Caitlin Clark was a phenomenon. At the University of Iowa, she wasn't just playing basketball. She was rewriting its history. With seemingly limitless range, she shattered Pete Miravich's 54-year-old NCAA Division I scoring record, a feat many thought was untouchable. But it wasn't just the points. It was the Caitlin Clark effect. Arenas sold out. Television ratings for women's basketball exploded, rivaling and sometimes even beating the NBA. She became a household name, a singular force who made people care about a sport they had previously ignored. This wasn't just a great college player. This was a generational talent, a cultural icon in the making, and she was heading to a league that desperately needed her star power. But what she would find there wasn't a red carpet, but a target on her back. The hype surrounding her #1 draft pick to the Indiana Fever was unprecedented. We're not just talking about jersey sales, we're talking about a seismic shift in the league's entire economic landscape. Before she even played a single professional game, teams were moving their games against the Fever to larger NBA arenas just to accommodate the tidal wave of ticket demand. The WNBA, which had fought for decades for a fraction of the spotlight, was suddenly the talk of the sports world. But all this attention was being placed on the shoulders of a 22-year-old. She wasn't just expected to be a great player, she was expected to be a savior, a business entity, tasked with elevating the entire league. This immense pressure created a powder keg environment, where every veteran player was watching, waiting to see if the phenom was truly ready for the big leagues.
Like, this is a crazy, crazy putt right here. Did she make that? There's no way she made that putt. Leaving Nelly Korda with a tip in. That's a nice little putt.
Her professional welcome was anything but warm. It was brutal, and it started from the very first game. Veteran players, including legends like Diana Taurasi, made it clear that Clark's college dominance meant nothing here. The physicality was dialed up to an 11. She was body bumped and hit on nearly every possession. While defenders are always tough on a star player, this felt different. It felt personal. Pundits and former players called it a rookie welcome, the standard hazing any top pick receives. But as the games went on, a more troubling pattern emerged. The hits weren't just basketball plays. They were messages being sent not just to Clark, but to the world. And soon, one of those messages would cross a line that the league could no longer ignore.
Maybe, fine-tune that part of it. But
like that plan.
I mean, you're an athlete, you're used to crowds, and I'm sure you play better under pressure.
The moment that shattered the rookie hazing narrative came on June 1st, in a game against the Chicago Sky. In an off-ball play, Chenny Carter delivered a vicious blindside shoulder check, sending Clark crashing to the floor. The refs completely missed it, calling it a common foul only after the fact. The hit itself was shocking, but it was Carter's defiant lack of remorse afterward that lit the fuse. She told reporters she had no regrets, cementing the idea that this was a targeted, deliberate act. The incident exploded online, moving beyond sports talk into a national debate. The WNBA was forced to upgrade the foul to a flagrant 1, but the damage was done. This was no longer just about basketball. It was about respect, jealousy, and a growing resentment that was boiling just beneath the surface of the league.
Like, just when it comes to the sport, it's how you can integrate like a celebrity in sport kind of perfectly, especially in a growing sport.
Just as the Cheney Carter controversy began to simmer, Clark's old college rival Angel Reese reignited the fire. During another heated matchup with the Chicago Sky, Reese wound up and delivered a flagrant foul, hitting Clark directly in the head on a layup attempt. While some defended it as a hard basketball play, the context was impossible to ignore. Reese, who famously taunted Clark during their NCAA championship game, seemed to relish the physical confrontation. After the game, she spoke about players making a name for themselves by going at Clark. The rivalry that had captivated millions in college was now playing out in the pros, but with a more aggressive, hostile edge. It was becoming clear that every game against Clark was now a Super Bowl for her opponents, a chance to prove that the league's new golden child was not untouchable.
I'm pro-am. What were the nerves like hitting your opening tee shot here compared to what you normally do on the basketball court?
I don't get nervous for basketball, but I got a little nervous for this because I don't want to hit anybody, but honestly, I'm just trying to have.
Here's where the story gets incredibly complicated, and it's a place Caitlin Clark never asked to be. As a white superstar in a predominantly black league, she was unknowingly cast as a central figure in a culture war fueled by outside commentators. Media figures began framing the hard fouls not as sports, but through a racial lens, creating toxic narratives that pitted players against each other. They used her name to generate clicks and outrage, discussing race and privilege in ways that had little to do with the reality on the court. It was a storm she had no part in creating, but was trapped in the center of. This put the WNBA and its players in an impossible position, where basketball plays were being dissected for their socio-political implications, and the focus was shifting away from the game and onto divisive, manufactured conflict.
Pro golfer just tracked down Caitlin mid-event to shake her hands and thank her for playing the event and bringing all the attention to the sport.
Amidst this tornado of controversy, physicality, and cultural debate, Caitlin Clark's response was deafening silence and clutch baskets. She refused to engage with the drama. When asked about the hard fouls or the external noise, her answer was always the same. It's just basketball. She put her head down and played, slowly but surely adjusting to the pro level. She started racking up historic rookie numbers, becoming the fastest player in WNBA history to score 200 points, 50 rebounds, and 50 assists. Her mental toughness became her greatest weapon. While the world debated, she was in the gym. While commentators created narratives, she was studying film. She was proving that the only way to answer the noise was to be so good that it couldn't be ignored. But a decision was about to be made that would render all her on-court achievements seemingly irrelevant.
I was trying to think of who else maybe could play today, especially in women's sports, that would create this kind of attention. Current player. And I mean, the true buzz that Caitlin Clark has shown across the entire sports world in such a short period of time.
Then came the bombshell that no one saw coming. Despite being the most popular and talked about basketball player on the planet, Caitlin Clark was left off the 12-person roster for the 2024 U.S. Olympic team. The official reasoning from the selection committee was a desire for continuity and veteran experience. They claimed they wanted a team with established chemistry, players who had been in the system for years. On the surface, it sounded plausible, but for millions of fans and nearly every major sports analyst, it was an absolutely baffling decision. It was seen as a colossal marketing failure, a choice to sideline a player who could bring an unprecedented number of eyeballs to the sport on a global stage. The decision felt like more than just a roster choice. It felt like another message.
She is a larger-than-life athlete. She is one of the 10 most famous American sport athletes in sports.
The official excuse of team chemistry quickly began to fall apart under scrutiny. Insiders started whispering the real reasons. One major factor was reportedly a fear among the committee of the potential backlash from Clark's massive fan base if she were to make the team but not receive significant playing time. They envisioned a scenario where every minute she sat on the bench would become a firestorm of criticism against the coach and veteran players. More pointedly, there were reports of concern from veteran players about how Clark would fit into the locker room. They allegedly felt her stardom might overshadow the team's mission, creating a media circus. In essence, her immense popularity had ironically become her biggest liability. They didn't just leave a player off the team, they avoided a phenomenon they couldn't control.
The golf media is pumped about Caitlin Clark, as they should be. So many more new fans are going to be tuning in to golf who never would have otherwise.
About being a leader in their space, whether it was sport, whether it's business, whatever it is. I think that was what's so cool about it, and obviously getting to sit next to Annika on stage is pretty special for my.
The public and media backlash to the Olympic decision was immediate and ferocious. Everyone from Stephen A. Smith to Charles Barkley condemned it as one of the dumbest moves in sports history. They argued that the Olympics are not just about winning, but also about growing the game, and leaving Clark at home was a direct rejection of that opportunity. The controversy became so massive that it completely overshadowed the players who actually made the team. The story was no longer about Team USA's quest for gold, it was about the player they left behind. This decision inadvertently proved the very point some veterans were supposedly resentful of. Caitlin Clark was bigger than the game itself. Even in her absence, she was the only one anyone was talking about.
It's going to be huge. That's why they expanded the coverage around it, and that's why you see, some of the talking heads in the golf space getting really excited, because they know what's about to come down this week once Caitlin Clark tees. LPGA Pro-Am is just going to bring so many more eyes, because everything she does brings eyes, especially to a basketball court, but even when she makes an appearance courtside.
While the drama swirls on the court and in committee rooms behind the scenes, Caitlin Clark is quietly building an empire. Before the Olympic snub, she signed a staggering 8-year, $28 million deal with Nike, which includes her own signature shoe, a rarity for a WNBA player, especially a rookie. Her portfolio is stacked with blue-chip companies like Gatorade, State Farm, and Gainbridge. This financial success, while celebrated by her fans, is another subtle source of tension within the league. She is making more from endorsements than the entire WNBA payroll of some teams combined. This financial disparity creates a complex dynamic where her presence is simultaneously lifting the league's profile while also highlighting the pay gap that veteran players have been fighting against for their entire careers.
With the Caitlin Clark, just tell us about the experience.
So amazing. She's so sweet, so nice. I asked her how many times a week she plays, and with, I think, the amount of obligations that she has, she probably gets to the golf course once a week, and to just play once a week, she was playing really well. At the end of the day, it's just great for the women's sports. I love that she has a love for the game of golf. So I think it's just growing the interest in all of women's sports, and I hope that's what grows from this relationship.
To understand the hostility, you have to understand the veteran's dilemma. Imagine fighting for years in a league that was consistently overlooked, underpaid, and disrespected. You fly commercial, you play overseas in the off-season to make ends meet. You scratch and claw for every bit of media attention. Then a 22-year-old rookie arrives and in a matter of weeks is getting private jets chartered for her team, multi-million-dollar shoe deals, and non-stop national media coverage. It's human nature to feel a sense of frustration and resentment. While their on-court actions have been heavily criticized, their feelings come from a real place of struggle. Clark represents the future they all fought to create, but she is reaping the benefits in a way they never could, and that is a bitter pill to swallow.
Caitlin Clark has been the best thing, the most dominant thing. Remember, there's been good players come out of college, but nobody really cared. We'd seen it. Nobody really cared.
I don't really care what happens. It doesn't really matter. I don't play golf for a living, and just have fun with it. This isn't, super serious. Enjoy the experience. Because there were so many people that would, kill to be in my position or be in my shoes, or, the people that are following outside the ropes would love to have one opportunity to, hit a ball in the first tee or something like that. So just remind yourself how cool this experience is, and don't let it pass you by. But I think that's, anything I do in life, having these sort of experiences or whatever I get to do and the opportunities that I have, soak it in, because a lot of people would trade and want to have these opportunities as well.
Despite all the external chaos, Caitlin Clark is fundamentally changing the way the game is played in the WNBA. Her ability to shoot from 30 feet away is forcing defenses to completely alter their schemes. Coaches now have to game plan for a threat that simply didn't exist before. She is stretching the floor, creating new lanes and opportunities for her teammates. She is forcing the entire league to adapt and evolve at a pace it may not be comfortable with. The old-school physical style of play is being challenged by a new era of pace and space, spearheaded by her unique talent. The drama may dominate the headlines, but her real, lasting impact will be seen in the X's and O's for years to come, as a new generation of players models their game after hers.
I think Caitlin Clark is doing the right thing, rising above all of the crap that she's had to endure. Caitlin Clark was worried about playing the game, and that is why she got Rookie of the Year. She was not worried about the BS.
In the end, the story of Caitlin Clark was never going to be about just breaking scoring records. As we look back, the hard fouls, the media narratives, and the shocking Olympic snub are not separate events. They are chapters in a larger saga about a transcendent talent challenging a deeply entrenched system. The WNBA is being forced to confront its own growing pains, grappling with newfound popularity that is almost entirely tethered to a single player. And that player is facing a level of pressure and scrutiny unlike any athlete before her, carrying the weight of a league, a culture war, and global expectations on her shoulders. The question is no longer if she can handle the physicality of the league, but if the league can handle the phenomenon that is Caitlin Clark. What do you think was the real reason she was left off the Olympic team? Let me know in the comments below.